Hello guys and welcome to this Raid Shadow Legends video. Today I'm gonna show you my clan boss team that are able to do one key on Void Affinity and Green Affinity. Just to be clear, with this specific team, you will not be able to one key Red Affinity and Blue Affinity. But if you're early on in the day and you are able to do Void Affinity, then you should be able to eventually do one key damage. Alright, so let's talk about the champions first, because there's a lot of things that you need to understand to build the champions properly. Now, let's first talk about the whole concept with the Infinity Shield team. The most important champion for this is gonna be Brogni. He is one-of-a-kind champion because of this ability right here. This ability, hit all enemies, chance of removing one debuff from all enemies. It doesn't matter, really. Okay, and then it will cleanse a debuff of your champion. That's good, but doesn't matter as well. But what is really important here is increases the value of shield buffs. All allies, well, on all allies by 30% of the damage inflicted. That means the way this works is if your allies have a shield and Brogni uses this ability, let's say he does 100,000 damage, that the shield they have will be increased by 30,000. It doesn't matter how big shield, how big the initial shield was. It only matters the damage of this ability right here. So the more damage you do, the more you increases the shield value of the shield you have. Alright, that is the main mechanic of this team, and because he will increase the shield early on, he will increase the shield much more than your team will take damage, and this way your shield will stack up an insane amount and you will be able to survive a lot of turns. Now, he also have this ability right here that is very good. He would like block debuffs. This means you can run this team against any affinity, but you will die earlier on green and blue affinity because the stun targeting will be different. Alright, also increase attack, that's good, to increase his own damage. He will place a shield buff on all allies, that's good, because this shield is gonna be the one that we're gonna stack. Alright, so also his A1 has an HP burn, pretty good if you want a little bit more damage. Also, so many useful things on the champion. Also, this passive here, whenever an ally under shield is attacked, he will reflect a little bit of damage, but most importantly, that reflect damage can proc Giant Slayer. Also heal, that doesn't really matter, so because of this, he will have a Giant Slayer. You will make him basically do maximum amount of damage against the boss with his HO ability, and you want a couple very specific nodes here. The AoE damage reduction to help you survive longer, and delayed death. This will also make you tankier over time. Very good. The rest doesn't really matter. So, the way I build him is basically with as much attack as possible and as much crit damage as possible. The higher damage, the better. Of course, you need the minimum speed. For this specific team, it's gonna be 218. If you put this team into the Deadwood Jedi optimizer, then you can play around with the speeds and see what fits your account. Now, in my team, I only need 85% crit rate to actually crit, because I have a 50% crit rate buff on someone else. So yeah, the health of the champion doesn't matter, the initial shield does not matter. Everything that does matter is this damage to increase your shield value. And if you make him deal more damage, you are gonna survive a lot longer. Alright, let's go to the, in my opinion, second most important champion in this comp. Now, the reason you would want to build this specific Infinity team is because you do not have a Krisk. He's a Void Legendary, is really hard to get, and that is why you instead want to use Martyr. Now, she is incredible for this team, and if you do not have Martyr, then you will not be able to do a 1 key, maybe 2 key, I don't know for sure, but she's amazing. The reason for this is her A1 has a huge chance of placing decreased defense that helps you with doing more damage. She will start off using this skill, and everyone will have this buff all the time. Increased defense, this is helping your survivability a lot, and counterattack on all of your champions. This will increase your damage a lot as well. Increase your survivability, increase your damage, increase her own damage, and yeah, amazing, amazing. Also, very important as well, and the most important debuff you can have is decreased attack. Because the lower damage you take, the less, the less damage you take and the longer you last. If you don't have decreased attack, you will do a lot less damage. And this speed tune is built around having champions that use 4-turn cooldown skills, well, specifically Martyr. This is on a 4-turn cooldown, and you want to place this before every single AoE so you don't take that much damage. So she is MVP, she is amazing. She and Brogni is needed in this team. Now, the three other champions is actually, you can switch them around. And gonna first talk about the best one of them to increase your damage overall. That is actually a rare champion called Hellborn Sprite. Now, she doesn't do a lot of damage herself, but when she counterattacks an A1s, she has a huge chance of placing 50% weaken. Now, this doesn't seem like much, like, oh yeah, I will only do 15% more damage, but this will also increase your Brogni A2 damage by 15%, and also, yeah, basically increasing your shield even more. You will turn off this, but this one is very important because you need 3 champions that can increase duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn. You need 3 champions like that, and preferably on a 3-turn cooldown. She also places increased crit rate on all allies for 2 turns. Very nice, that means you only need 85% crit rate on your team. So, she does the extension, she does increased crit rate, and she does weaken. Beautiful. So she is probably the best, one of the best increased duration champions. I used 2 other ones as well. They don't do any very specific job, but they are easier to gear. I use a Sandlashed. I use this one with Toxic Gear to boost your damage. Yeah, so this is the main skill, 3-turn cooldown, and increase the duration of all buffs by 1 turn. Very good defense base, does a lot of damage. Toxic helps the damage even more. War Master, I can show Hellborn's Masteries as well. Exactly the same. Alright, last champion. I forgot to show Martyr Scare and stuff, I will show that afterwards, like this. Alright. The last one is Godseeker. Now, you need a shield set on your champions, because this is very funny and really important, because a shield set shield and a skill shield that Brogni applies counts as 2 different sources of shield. And Brogni A2 Brogni A2 can extend both of those shields at the same time. And also, when the clan boss hit you, he will only hit one of the shields. He will only hit the leftmost shield, and that is going to be, I'm not quite sure which shield that is, but so basically, this is going to double your shield efficiency, because Brogni will extend 2 shields at once. Really important to have a shield set, and I prefer having that on Godseeker, because she's still easy to build, and you want her to have enough defense, and yeah, you want to have some damage and whatnot. So yeah, she's the one I built with shield sets here. Of course, her damage scales with defense, have 85% crit rate and some crit damage. This build can be improved, but I haven't bothered. Alright. Martyr. Actually, a really important set on her is gonna be Stalwart gear. Now, she is gonna be the leader of our team, and therefore she will take the stun against the clan boss. The stun hit, she will not be stunned because you have blocked debuffs, but she will take the stun hit. So she will take a lot more damage than all of your other champions. And because of that, since you want everyone to die at the same time, you will want to use Stalwart gear. That means she is gonna take a lot less damage against the AoEs, and you also want to build her with high defense. This way she takes a lot less damage. And yeah, she does a lot of damage, by the way. So build her with high defense, high crit damage. You only need 85% crit rate with her as well, but I happen to have 100%. Doesn't really matter. Of course, you want some accuracy to land, decreased defense, and decreased attack. Alright, that is basically it. The most important build is Brogni. Boost your damage as high as possible, and that is gonna make you survive as long as possible. I would sacrifice accuracy to get more damage, by the way. That is gonna boost your damage overall, because your damage comes from counterattacks, it comes from Brogni's passive, it comes from poisons and War Master procs and things like that. Let's look at this Masteries. Yeah, Giant Slayer. Did I show Martyr's Masteries just in case here? Similar like the other ones. Yes. A1 scaling damage over time. Yeah, War Master of course, and yeah. You're always gonna be on full health, so this one helps. Beautiful. Alright. Actually, one little tip before I leave here. Having this one is gonna be more damage overall if you have the attack, because his base attack is insanely low. And this one is gonna give you more damage than the crit rate. I just happen to have this. Not optimal, but yeah. Remember that. Always having 100%, I mean 85% crit rate still. Very important, because you want to crit to make this work. Alright, so basically the reason why we use 3 extenders is pretty simple. Let me actually jump into a recording that I did. Let me show you why. So, okay, how do I do this? Boom, boom, there we go. I'll start the recording here. Yeah, I done did this clan boss key earlier today. Alright, I open the FTP up. Oh, legendary skill tome. Oh, this can be pretty good gloves. Who knows? Okay, we will take a look at the team setup here. The setup here is very important. Martyr. You will open with the counterattack, and you will never use it again, because your buffs is gonna be infinite. They're gonna last the entire battle. And then you want to prioritize your decreased attack. That's gonna be your main ability. Hellborn Sprite. As well, you will open with A1. You don't want to use your A2, because you rather want weaken out than doing maybe more damage, who cares. And prioritize this buff extension skill. Alright, Brogni. You will open with the shield, and then you will never use it again. That's how easy it is. And then you prioritize your A2, just to be sure. Godseeker, open with A1, prioritize your extension. Godseeker, open with A1, prioritize your extension. Alright, let's jump into the run. Now the setup is pretty simple. Personally, I let everything run on auto the first turn, because you have the AI setup with the opener skill. You let everything run there, the buffs come out, the buffs will come out, everyone A1s. Then everyone counterattacks, wait for them to counterattack. All deepens are out. And now you can choose to manual the 2 attacks now, but normally I auto this skill, because they are prioritized and will be used. Manual will take a little longer a bit. In the start, I would suggest manual this, because now is a little part of the setup. You will A1. Now you will A1. You have to do this, or else they will use some other skills. A1, A1. Now you can put it on auto again, because they will use their skills automatically. Wait for the AoE, and then the counterattack comes in. You can turn auto off again if you want. Alright, and now you will use your A1 with Godseeker, and use your extension with Hellborn, and now you A1 with Martyr. And that is it. This is a pretty important setup, because Martyr needs to open with the counterattack and increase defense. Next turn she will A1, after that she will A1, because if you do that, she will always do her decreased attack right before AoE 1, and you will always have decreased attack when you actually take damage here. Alright, beautiful. So this team works on a 4 to 3 speed tune duration. Basically, your entire team will take 4 turns in a time the clan boss will take 3 turns. This is the speed tune Martyr. That increases your damage and speed tunes Martyr, basically. So, why is the shield never falling off? Well, as you may understand, because you have 3 buff extenders that works on a 3-turn cooldown, you'll extend you will extend as much as you lose. So this way you will always have the extensions. Beautiful. But some of you might not actually have 3 people with 3-turn cooldown on the duration, I mean the buff increase. So there are a couple options that you can have. Well, let me jump back to the game. Alright, there are a couple options. One of the best ones is actually gonna be... is she here? No. Where is she? High Elf Sacred? The ally attack champion. God damn it. Is she dark? Yeah, she's probably dark elf, of course. Helicath. Now, she is very good and will increase your damage overall if you use her. She will also place... You can potentially start with this. It's a little bit risky, but you can potentially start with this. A chance of extra turn and stuff. But this ability right here is amazing. You will do a counterattack, but also do some turn meter boosting, and yeah. So, is it pretty hard to speed tune? You know what? Yeah, it's a bit hard to use, to be honest. I would not recommend it because of the turn meter boost. I almost forgot that, but also because it is on a 4-turn cooldown. The problem with this is you're gonna run out of buffs because you're not increasing the buffs at the same rate as you're filling this. The reason, well, there is a way you can fix this. That is using a specific gear set, and that is Reflex. Where are you? Reflex. You have a chance of reducing random skill cooldown by 1 turn. And if you're gonna use Helicath or another 4-turn cooldown champion like that, you have to use 2 of the extenders in Reflex. This way you will be able to still have the buffs permanently. And I would also recommend using, at the same time, using refresh accessories. Chance to prevent skill cooldown. This will highly increase your chance of still having the buff infinite. Alright, let's go back to the video here. Alright, so we will just look at things, go and see how easy it is. Now, everything is on auto, you don't need to touch anything again. Alright. So you have the decreased attack, some poisons from poison set, decreased defense, weaken, haste, burn, yeah, pretty nice. I believe actually Sandlash is the only one in Toxic set. You can also build Hellborn in Toxic set to have some additional poisons, some additional damage. But when I built this team, I didn't have good enough toxic gear. So, because the speed requirement is pretty high. So at the time I didn't, but you will look at the damage when this run is done and you will see that it's not, yeah, I didn't bother to improve the team. Her damage is gonna be very low because she's a attack-based champion. And one thing that I didn't mention earlier was that every champion has 3000 defense. Defense is gonna increase the time you live. So if you tune everyone with minimum 3000 defense, then they will live as long as the other ones with the 3000 defense. Hellborn 3000 defense, Brogni 3000 defense. Yeah, I would suggest that. You can have it a little lower maybe, but I would suggest 3000. But of course, if you can get a lot more damage from Brogni by not having that much defense, then I would rather get more damage with him. Because if Brogni dies, everything still runs normally. You will not increase the shield anymore, but if the damage is insane anyways and the shield extension wouldn't matter that much, who cares? So, if he dies a little bit early, he is the best champion that can die early. Because your extension champions are needed to make you never lose the shield, never lose any buffs. Martyr is very important because of the decreased attack, decreased defense, and that is why Stalwart gear on Martyr is that important, because you want her to live as long as everyone else. Alright, we are doing more than 1 million damage per turn, that is pretty nice. Let us skip 30 seconds, this is gonna take some minutes. Skip it more. As you see, the damage ramps up a little bit because the A1 damage stacks up and Poison's HP burn, yeah, good stuff. So you see, you only have like 6 debuffs, you can potentially have 7. So Hellborn with Poison set is recommended if you are able to do that. So having defense-based buff extenders are really good. Because, of course, you want the minimum 3000 defense, but also their damage scales with defense, and you all have permanent increased defense, and yeah, it's so much easier to scale your damage when you scale with defense in a team like this. There's the decreased attack right before, she takes a double turn before the stun, and everything is perfect. Let's skip even more into the future here. That's very good damage. Let's skip forward a bit, let's skip a lot. Alright, we are starting to get to higher turn limits. Boom, stun. Stun is doing now 30,000 damage. That is a lot of damage to take. Especially because Brogni only extends the shield every so often, every 3 turn. Building him in reflex gear is a good option, because then you will get more extension. But if that reduces your damage, then, you know, by a lot, then it's not worth it. You can do the math on that if you want. Okay, let's see the AoE damage that we take. Ooh. 58, 58, 55. Okay. She didn't take much less damage, as I saw there. Let's see the next AoE. She's gonna take 30% less damage, at least, than everyone else at AoE. Let's take a look. Oh, there's a stun again. 33,000 damage. Boom, they hit pretty hard. So, she took 32,000 damage on the AoE. I didn't pay attention too much about what the others took. Okay, next AoE I will try to freeze, we'll stop the time here, and then we can look at the damage they take. We're almost at 1.5 million damage. Okay, look at this. Now you see the strength of Stalwart gear. He took 37,000 damage. The other set took 58,000, 54, 59, 67. For some reason, Hellborn is taking more damage than the others. Maybe I should increase their defense a bit. It might be an unlucky crit or something, who knows. It's hard to see because you hit the shield and all damage is blue, so yeah, look at Sandash's damage as well. Very good, double hitter with 35,000, 24,000. Martyr hits so hard. Let's see if we can get a super high damage with Brogni A2, because he should be normally doing 150,000 damage. What the heck? 116. Yeah, that's fine, I guess. So he increases the shield by about 33,000 every time he uses his A2. And as you know now, we are taking a lot more damage than he's increasing. So this is why we live so long. Boom. 71,000 damage against Brogni there. So you understand now how high the shields are stacked up. And at this point, the shield is degrading faster than we are able to increase it by a long shot. We'll skip a little bit forward. This is turn 50. Now unkillable teams would be dead. And I could potentially have barely done a 1 key. Alright. So now you're gonna see the block damage text popping up. I mean block revive. And ignore unkillable, ignore block damage, you know, all of that stuff. So we can live longer than 50 turns. Let's skip forward a little bit because I think I lived pretty long. Now you can see the shields are decreasing on a bunch of the champions here, especially Hellborn. She's taking a lot of damage. Maybe I should increase the defense, but who cares? Alright. Boom. 44,000. I don't know why this is lagging, but yeah, it still increases the shields a little bit, so her shield a little higher. Oof, look at that. Did you see that heal? That is the Brogni passive heal. Pretty good. Doesn't necessarily matter. Sometimes you can now proc against affinity buttons and stuff like that. You can proc this Soundlash, this ally protection passive. That can help you live even longer. Now, Hellborn died. At the same time, Brogni is about to die. He will probably die next AoE. Maybe not, he got a little bit from shield, let's see. Boom. Against her, 47,000 damage. Look how tanky she is, wow. Boom, there's Brogni dead, there's dead, yep. And Martyr is the last one standing with that. Boom. So she dies primarily. Look, the shield is getting pretty low now because everyone is dying almost at the same time. Alright, let's take a look at the damage here. Brogni with the most damage. I guess like 60% of the damage, maybe 40% of the. A lot of the damage is coming from his passive. The longer you live, the more damage his passive does. Martyr doing the second most damage. That is by pure damage, not toxic set or anything. Her multipliers is just as good. Soundlash 19 million damage, toxic set and pretty good multipliers. Godseeker 10.5 million, not that crazy, her crit damage is low, and yeah, not that impressive. She's also in shield set. Hellborn, very low damage. All of the damage is mostly from War Master procs. So how many turns? Yeah, we lived 61 turns. So yeah, this is pretty good. Alright, that is gonna be it for this video. Hopefully I explained things a little bit more clear this time around. And yeah, so the main things that people can get wrong is that you want to scale Brogni's attack. That is what increases the shield. All your buffs is gonna last forever because you're gonna have 3 extenders on a 3-turn cooldown. So basically, on average, every turn you will increase buff by every turn, by 1 turn. Very good. And if you can use, you know, refresh accessories on them. That's gonna be good. Brogni can be a reflex gear that can increase your damage even more if your reflex gear is good. Martyr is the second most important champion. Decrease defense, decrease attack, increase defense, counter attack, increasing your damage by a ton. Also, the manual thing on the start of the run is very important because if she does not do her decrease attack at the right time, then you will take a lot more damage. That's just how it is. So yeah, this has been my super reliable team for a long time now. And now I want to, before I end the video, I want to show some screenshots about the best damage that I've done. Alright, I think it's there. Why do I have 2 copies? Okay. Anyways, this is my best Ultra Nightmare damage. I actually believe this is on Void Affinity. It's possible it's a Green Affinity, because Green Affinity is better, because the Green Affinity boss does more hits, and some of the hits on Brogni does more damage. It would make sense, actually. But also, there's a lot of RNG with the Giant Slayer procs, and yeah, look at this, 97.7 million damage on one Ultra Nightmare run, really impressive. And then, a pretty funny thing, against lower tier difficulties, you can do a lot of damage. Look at this, 332.9 million damage against the hard. We reached the turn limit. We didn't even die. Did not even die. So yeah, that's pretty amazing. A lot of damage from everyone here. Martyr, Brogni. Really fun to see. So yeah, if you want to deal 333 million damage, then this is the team you should go for. It has a higher limit than unkillable teams. It is harder to gear, probably, but for the most part you will only steal defense-based damage gear for these 3. Brogni needs a lot of damage, and yeah. Anyways, this is it. I just want to make in. This is gonna be a updated guide on this team, because this is also gonna be the last time I use this team. I'm gonna build today probably a Helicath team using Helicath, Martyr, and a couple other champions, probably Brogni as well. And I will see if I can 1-key Ultra Nightmare with that. Alright, so yeah, that's it. Leave a like, subscribe if you liked, and yeah, and that's basically it for this video. If you have any questions about the team, please leave them in the comments, and yeah, see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.